This is Robin Woodall. Hi, everyone. I'm the author of Weight Loss Apocalypse, and I am a partner in a medical HCG clinic, and I'm about to meet with a new patient. Right now, she is listening to my educational video. I don't know if you can hear this.
Different times during your menstrual cycle, you'll notice that.
Anyhow, when she's done with this video, I'm going to go in and talk to her about the protocol and the method, and hopefully she will allow me to videotape myself talking to her, so you'll get an opportunity to hear one of my first sessions, which really get intense. So I'm hoping this will help a lot of you through your journey, so stay tuned. Okay, I'll just make sure I'm visible. Okay, so how did you hear about the HCG protocol?
My boyfriend had heard about it on the internet.
And what made you, you had to have been skeptical.
Oh yeah, but I had tried, LA weight loss before, and he had this book on HCG, kind of read up a little bit on it, but I don't know, he just...
So you went on the internet, and how much did you, were you like, what the heck, or, what really made you think, I'm going to go ahead and schedule an appointment?
Just the fact that, it's like a month or 3 weeks to a month or whatever that you have to be on, it's not even really a diet, but, eating less calories than I'm used to.
You think?
In a day. By a lot.
Really? By a significant amount.
Oh my gosh.
And when I first heard about it, I thought it was a joke. I literally was like, really? I thought it was a modern person, Dr. Simeon's. I'm like, he must think we're all just dumb shits, just stupid. But
and then not hearing much about, like with all these other weight loss things out there, you hear about all the time, but those seem to never be successful.
No, nothing's successful. Are you kidding me?
It's like right when you stop, your weight comes.
Well, yeah, because the actual problem is not your fat, just so that you know. Fat is an organ. It creates hormones. Did you know that?
No.
What did you think of the video about describing, does it not make sense?
They made a lot of sense. I was really surprised at everything I'd seen on it.
Yeah, you're not going to hear this stuff on the internet, because what I do and the hypothesis we've created and how we approach it, no one else does it like this. And so when people go look for information, they're hearing Dr. Simeon's theories. They're hearing 3 types of fat, abnormal fat. Did you read all that?
I didn't get into it too much, no.
The HCG unlocks the hypothalamus and all of that conversation that really doesn't have a whole lot of science to back it. Anyhow, and but there's such an incredible amount of science that does explain HCG's influence on why pregnant women gain so much fat.
Yeah.
And you're about to put it in your body. How do you feel about that?
A little scared.
Yeah. Well, you should be, because this isn't a diet. If you approach this like a diet, you are in for a huge surprise. Because it's bizarre. First off, did you read about the gorging process?
No.
The eating excessive amounts of food, that's real. If you don't eat excessively the first couple of days while you're on the HCG, the whole thing doesn't work.
Oh, wow.
But we're talking all day long fat fest.
Oh.
Fried chicken, cheese. Obviously you don't have to pick really awful food for you, but it needs to be really high in fat content. Avocados, olive oil.
And what about where beer fall in there?
You can still have beer during that time, but it's bizarre, and you're going to gain some weight during that time.
Okay.
You're gonna get where I'm headed with
Yeah.
Anyhow, so it's not a diet. This is a hormonal therapy. We are putting you into an atmosphere, a physical atmosphere, where your need for food, HCG stimulates leptin to such a level on this that your need for food is less than 500 calories. Less. Now here's the conundrum. Your need for food nutritionally, vitamins and minerals and electrolytes, isn't less. It's still there. But your need for food hormonally, pretty much gone.
Okay. So how do you get the vitamins and stuff?
You're going to need to take supplements.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to need to supplement that, add salt to everything, and those are some things we'll go into in a second when we go over the real detail of the protocol.
Okay.
But the big thing that I want to make sure you get out of today's conversation is where you need to take personal responsibility for why you're fat. Okay?
Okay.
This is where diets suck because they don't want you to take personal responsibility, because if you do, why would you need them?
It's true.
Yeah, I know. All focus is on the diet you're choosing. If I were a diet right now, I'd be telling you how amazing that this clinic is and how we're going to make you skinny, and being skinny makes you a better person and you're going to be happier, and I'm going to feed you all that crap that you've probably heard over and over and over again, and you're thinking, yay, I want to feel better, right? You're desperate.
Of course.
I'm not going to take advantage of you. I'm about to tell you that it's your fault. You need to fix yourself.
Yes.
And isn't that kind of almost like, thank you. Tell me how to do it. And that's what I'm going to do. You know, you need to approach this protocol as if you're getting a do-over.
Okay.
You know, if you could go back knowing what you know about your body and about yourself to the moment that you started eating too much, or emotionally, for emotional reasons, for whatever reason it is, would you do it again?
No.
You got it. So what the hell are you waiting for? You know, you really need to think of this as an opportunity for you to heal your body, get rid of the fat cells that do cause that magnified hormonal reaction, but you need to stop causing the damage. You know, anytime, did you kind of have an epiphany with that hunger scale? If you're not hungry and you eat, you're going to gain fat off of the protocol. That's why people gain fat in general. Did you understand that concept?
Makes sense.
Yeah, and so when do you eat without hunger?
All the time.
Can you give me some examples?
At work, we have people bringing snacks. They just sit up on the counter, walk by. Oh, that looks good. Or
It's free.
yeah, if it's free, it's different. Whatever. In the morning.
What's the hardest thing for you? You know, that's derailed any other diet where you're like, screw it. I'm not doing this anymore. What is usually the environment that derails, again, a diet for you?
The social atmosphere.
Celebration?
Celebrations.
Welcome to America.
We're all about them.
Anytime there's a party, anytime you're out to dinner, do you work? Yeah, you do work. So do you work? Do you like to eat after work as a way to just decompress from the day?
Well, quite a few days.
So when you really think about it, if you don't want to change any of that, what are you doing here? You see where I'm headed? It's like you really have to rethink the normal way you eat, and that's going to have to adapt. You're going to have to adjust your normal. You have to create a new norm so that it's not a diet. That what you're about to, this is where you get a do-over. If you could do it over, would you continue to do what you're doing?
No.
So can you find motivation to eat less all the time, even though everybody around you is gorging all the time?
Oh yeah, if I had the right mindset. And
well, that's how do you get there? That's what we're talking about. Do you think you can find a mindset? I mean, you have to want that. I think the biggest, I think the biggest struggle for people who do this protocol is they hate their fat, but they love the way they eat. So they gain fat, blame their bodies, temporarily submit to a diet, obsess over the scale as they're losing the fat, because that's the only reason why they're doing the diet in the first place. And as soon as something else better comes along, they're done, and they go right back to the normal way that they love to eat. And so you have to think about what are those things for you where you're not ready to let go. And if you're not, you need to know you're going to gain whatever fat you lose, you're going to gain back.
Okay. I'm ready to make that change to
Like I like to call it, you're going to be grounded. You're ready to be grounded.
I'm very ready to be grounded.
I know it. You're in trouble. Well, so the way we approach this protocol is not your typical way.
Mm.
For example, I don't want you weighing yourself.
Okay.
Have you thought of that? You know, when people weigh themselves, do you weigh yourself when you're not on a diet?
No, not really.
Exactly. So if you chose to eat less, obviously this protocol is not a diet. It's not something I'm going to want you to do forever. It's a very short-term hormonal therapy. The goal being that in the future, you eat only when you're hungry.
Okay.
You eat what you want. You don't have guilt. And you stop when hunger goes away.
Okay.
Right? You see how that's the win-win?
Mm-hmm.
You get the choice, but you're never hurting the body. You're letting your body determine when and how much. So you need to know that in the future, your coworkers are going to have food, and it's going to be there, and it's going to be free, and you're going to have all weddings to go to, and they're going to have wedding cake, and you're going to have barbecues, and you're going to have death in the family, and you may have your children going places. Is food going to be your main entertainment? Is food going to be? You've got to have a shift in your mind to where you recognize that your fat is the result of an emotional desire. And so if you don't change the emotional desire, you need to accept the body you have. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with accepting a body that has fat on it. I'd much rather that than you continue to put your body through hell, through diets, and then going back and forth from excessive eating and then starving yourself, and then excessive eating and then starving yourself. That's harder on the body than just stabilizing where you're at.
Right.
So you kind of you need to have a come to Jesus with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Is like after you're done with it, is okay to still go out on the weekends and drink and stuff like that.
You gotta play the game. I mean, alcohol is food, absolutely, and it totally affects your endocrine system. I'm in the same place you are. It's really about finding balance. Why when you do drink alcohol, what's the intent? Are you looking to get a buzz? Mm-hmm. Is it social? What is that relationship you have with alcohol? I like to think of it as relationship, because there is something emotional about it. Right. Wouldn't you agree? Mm-hmm. So it's not just physical. It's just not a beer. Right. There's something emotional about that beer that you've created. Okay? Right. Because the microbiology of that beer doesn't have feelings attached to it. Right? Right. So you need to reassess it all for yourself. Mm-hmm. I can't do that for you. It's not my job either. So right. It's your job, and all I'm doing is saying you need to get that done. If you really, really want to make change and get the most out of this experience, you need to look at all of it. Okay. As if you're about to get a do-over and you need to reassess. Okay. Okay? And then in the future, you want a cocktail, you want to get a nice buzz, you just need to learn from past experience and not repeat it. Right. Isn't that like, wow!
Light bulb.
How is it that no other diet had ever said that to me? They just say, use my product and continue to buy it.
It's true.
I know. We are so stupid. I'm one of them. You know what the thing is that I get you. I see myself, every single person that sits in front of me, I get, because I've been there. Mm-hmm. On some level, so I have compassion. So as much as I'm making fun of you and I'm kind of making light of our culture, it's a time that we just kind of wash our hands from both sides. The diet industry, the food industry. You really need a do-over because it's not working. Have you noticed how fat we are, Americans in general, and how sad it is that we've got children who are innocent? Who have diabetes and polycystic ovarian syndrome. Do you understand? Do you know what that is?
I'm not sure what that is.
So it's a hormonal imbalance. Excuse me. That happens to adolescent girls in general. Adolescents. It can happen later, but where it's highly linked to sugar intake and obesity. So if they have more fat and sugar, they're going to get hormones and they get more testosterone. And so their bone structure changes. They start to lose their hair. They have facial hair.
Okay.
You've seen this. And it's like, what the? And that affects not only the way they perceive themselves in our superficial culture. I mean, we are just mean, straight mean, and changes the way they look. It changes fertility, it's hard on young children. And that's what we're getting. It's exponentially growing in our culture because of what we eat and why and how we're teaching people how to eat.
Right.
A simple way of really rethinking, and I tell this to everybody, I wrote it in the book, rethinking is if something cataclysmic happened, took all the food away, how would you eat? Would you eat if you had to ration your food? Would you eat when you were bored?
No.
Would you eat for fun?
No.
So you realize now how stupid that sounds, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
We have lost touch with food from a physical point of view.
Okay.
And food has become almost entirely emotional.
Mm.
And usually when I say emotion, people seem to think that it's like trauma and you're sitting in your closet eating food and rocking back and forth. That doesn't have to be that extreme. Most Americans struggle with emotional eating to celebrate. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so when did food become emotional for you? Is there a specific moment where it was like this right here? I remember that food became really great. Like
not in particular. No.
Okay.
I've always liked food.
Did your mom and dad give you food to celebrate? Give you food as reward?
Not as reward, but I guess maybe for like graduation. They always have like extra food out for that.
Oh sure, social party.
Yeah, but not really for anything else.
So it wasn't a big focus. So for you, where do you feel like your biggest vulnerability is?
I think it was my ex-boyfriend. He kept telling me, eat. So I don't care how big you get, just eat. I'm like...
So he had emotional eating disorder, and he wanted you to have one too.
That's right. So.
And so did you notice that you gained weight during that time?
Mm-hmm.
And then that it's been very difficult to lose afterwards?
Yeah, I haven't lost it since. I've gone down maybe 10 pounds at a time, and then within the next couple weeks, it's right back on. Just...
I know. You really have to change the way you live.
Yes.
And every pound you gain, it makes it more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the hormones. But I guess what I'm trying to do with you right now is to prepare you for how this protocol is not easy.
Okay.
Let me rephrase it. This protocol is extremely easy.
Okay.
It's emotionally really difficult for the majority of people who do it. Not for everybody, but for most people. You're not going to complain about hunger.
Okay.
You're going to complain about wanting to eat.
Okay.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Are you married?
No.
Okay, you have a boyfriend?
I have a boyfriend.
Okay, he's going to be eating and you're going to be like, what are you going to eat in front of me? You're going to feel somewhat punished because other people are eating. Can you see that happen?
Oh, definitely.
So where do you think that punished feeling would come from?
Like, when would it happen?
Well, why do you think you'd feel punished? If you're not hungry.
Just because I feel left out.
It's emotional?
Mm-hmm.
Because you feel deprived because other people are eating more. So what you're telling me is that your idea is more is better.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're eating less compared to everybody else, that quantity is what determines value.
Okay.
You see where you're going to have to change that?
Mm-hmm.
So that you don't have a weight problem in the future.
Right.
Because you're going to be living amongst gluttons until our food is gone. Until something takes it. You understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your perception of value with food, you need to rip out the emotion. It needs to be physical. If you're really not hungry, are you being deprived?
No.
It doesn't make sense.
Not at all.
Mm-mm. So you need to observe that emotion, that perspective that is going to sabotage you.
Okay. Like, maybe at first even just have him, if he wants to eat.
Have him eat right in front of you. One of the things I challenge everybody to do is go jump off the freaking cliff. I want you to get your candy of choice and put it on the table.
Okay.
You need to live in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Don't isolate yourself from reality. The worst thing you can do is avoid where you have vulnerability, because you're not going to develop a sense of confidence.
Okay.
You see, I'm taking the opposite approach of a diet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of what you're capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
If I know full well, if you walk on the hot stones, you're gonna be just fine, and it's gonna be scary. But you just have to do it to figure it out. So, go to restaurants, tell them you're on a medically supervised protocol, and that tell them you need certain foods prepped a certain way. If you tell them you're on a medical protocol, they'll do anything you say, and I don't care if it costs $20. You see, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So now we have to redefine food from a dollar value.
Mm-hmm.
I spent $20, damn it, I'm gonna eat the whole thing, and you're gonna get fat too. So you pay $20 for a fatter ass. You hearing me?
Yes, I am.
So
it's not worth it either way.
No, and so your value needs to be. It's been misplaced. It's been misdirected.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because that's what you grew up in. You were taught to think that more is better.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you agree?
Oh yeah.
So our goal through this process, if you could redo it, what would you want value being placed on?
You mean not like food-wise, just anything?
Yeah.
Just happiness. No.
Go with food. Food. What would be if you were to redo what you've defined with food is valuable?
Mm-hmm.
How would you redefine it if you could?
It's not that great.
Well, we want it to be tasteful. We want it to be good, but don't you agree that taste?
Mm-hmm.
It should taste good,
right? And you should enjoy what you're eating.
Correct. It shouldn't be about quantity. It should be about when you're hungry, and it needs to be about enjoying the food that you do choose to eat. One of the biggest misinterpretations when I tell people food shouldn't be emotional is that people believe that I'm saying you can't enjoy food. That is so I am a food whore. I love food. And it's really important that you have taste buds for a reason. Mm-hmm. The cocaine center of your brain gets active every time you eat. Did you know that?
No.
That's why it feels so good. You're supposed to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So you should never feel guilty about enjoying the food and really getting into the palate of it. But the problem arises when you think more is better. Now, this is when people emotionalize food. So if you've emotionalized food, more is always better. For example, if you think that celebration is in food, okay, then more food is going to have more celebration, right? So we're going to go get more food. Let's get more. Let's do it because we're celebrating more, right?
Right.
So if you're looking to have fun, you're going to order a piece of pie. And you'll have a bite of that pie, and that's not enough fun. So you'll have a slice of the pie. That's still not enough fun. So you'll eat the whole pie until you're disgusted by yourself and wonder why you did it, because you're in pain. Have you ever done that before? Mm-hmm. Then there's the guilt emotion involved with this. So you order a pie, and someone told you along the line that it was bad, right? Mm-hmm. So you're like, okay, I'll just have a bite. And you have a bite and it tastes good, and it tastes so good and bad. And you have guilt. You ruined everything. So you feel guilty. That's a feeling. That's an emotion. So you might as well eat a slice because you're going to feel you're guilty anyway, so you might as well have a whole slice. And you've already had the slice, so you might as well eat the whole pie because one bite is just as bad as the whole thing. Do you see how when you attach emotion to food, how irrational you get? Because you know as well as I do intellectually that one bite is very different than a piece, which is very different than a whole pie.
Oh, yes.
Making sense? So when you go out and everybody else is eating, let's say you go to Famous Dave's, and you can smell that barbecue and the cornbread, and it's like amazing. What's your favorite place to go to?
Red Lobster.
Red Lobster, okay. What your favorite dish is and your boyfriend's eating, and he's got a cocktail and a beer, and you're sitting there, how are you going to feel? How can you find a new definition of excitement and fun?
I don't know.
You need to find it. This is part of the creative process. Another part of what's happened with our eating culture is that eating has become has taken away from your creative process. Chances are, when you're not working, you're eating.
Mhm.
Am I right?
Or munching on something.
Yep.
Watching TV.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if you're bored, it's either TV, computer, or food. And usually eating occurs while you're on the computer and while you're watching TV. Okay, so it's become a big part of your hobbies.
Mhm.
So, how are you going to feel when food is not an option during this protocol? A little
Strange.
anxious?
Yeah. Probably.
A little irritable?
Mhm.
You see, and you're not going to be hungry, but do you see where this isn't easy?
Oh, definitely.
This is not for sissies.
No.
Okay?
Okay.
But you need to be proactive about your creativity. You've lost your sense of creativity. That's really what it is. Do you remember being a kid and playing and going from one thing and creating the next thing, and you know how that was? What if you had never stopped? You know, obviously we get older and our interests become more adult-like. But where would you be today if you never lost that creative process? If food didn't become that, or TV, or computer?
Probably scrapbooking.
Something.
Yeah.
So how many projects have you not started but haven't finished?
A lot.
Okay, so let's look at this from afar.
Mhm.
Why are you eating when you have stuff to do?
It just doesn't sound appealing
I
anymore.
know. Well, you're going to get an opportunity to really try a new way of living,
Okay.
because we're about to take food away from you.
Okay.
Have I freaked you out yet?
Yeah, it's a little scary, but
Well, it should be, because this isn't a diet. You, again, from the video, you have high risk for causing a lot of problems. You are going to have to rethink the way you live with food, and ideally food isn't your hobby anymore.
Right.
And when you take one away, I hope you find something that you really like and enjoy.
Okay.
You know, so that you really don't. Have you noticed that when you're busy doing something you like and enjoy, that really food isn't a big deal?
Mhm.
So you need to start using that creative part of the brain again. It's been, what's the word? Atrophied.
Okay.
Would you agree, or?
Mhm. Oh, definitely. And I had a couple questions about, like, with those high risk things, the thyroid and the ovarian. What?
Polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Yeah. What?
Well, you're
like, what could happen?
You're older. Although PCOS can occur anytime you're taking in high amounts of sugar, because it happens because of insulin combined with the hormone leptin. When those two are combined, you get a polarization of luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, and that polarization causes an increase in testosterone in women. You're not going to have that sugar intake, so your likelihood of PCOS on this protocol is really slim.
Okay.
Is that something that you were told you have or something?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay.
But I just said,
Oh, that's in adolescence. And
okay.
so the major risks for you: hot flashes, hair loss, alopecia, if you cheat. This is all if you cheat.
Okay. Okay. I'm like thinking, like,
If you do everything we tell you,
Okay.
you are going to heal.
Okay.
This is the thing. You have the opportunity to cause a lot of damage or to heal. It's like you're on the top of a very steep sloped graph.
Okay.
You're tipping over. I mean, you're balancing back and forth, and you don't have room on this during the very low calorie protocol.
Okay.
So you need to listen to hunger.
Okay.
You need to really think twice before you put something in your mouth that isn't on the list that we give you,
Okay.
or without hunger. Okay?
Okay.
Do you see how this is going to help you in the long run?
Oh, definitely.
I'm going to go ahead and turn this off.
Okay. Yeah, that was a little scary part. Like, I was thinking, even if you follow through.
Honey, you should be scared. This is not a diet. This is a protocol, and if you approach this like a diet, you're going to cheat, you're going to obsess over the scale, and you're going to fail.